Welcome back to the channel as we're here to cover my final defensive interior rankings going into the 2023 NFL Draft. That's right, the final ones are here. And remember, I'm only covering my top 10 in this video. You can check out the Patreon if you want my full prospect rankings, full big board evals. It's got analytics on there. It's got all your pro day, combine time. So if you're into that stuff, go ahead, check out the Patreon. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Let's go ahead, get into this with number 10, Geraldo Dexter Sr. Gotta add the senior now. Out of Florida, he is currently sitting at 105 on my big board. He is, I think, the youngest, or he's pretty darn close with Bryan Bresee in terms of defensive interior prospects in this class. And the dude was a former 5-star recruit coming into his career, coming to the 2020 class. He was an immediate starter there at, well, he carved out a very healthy rotation, I would say, rotation role at Florida his freshman year, but was basically the starter in 2021. He was a starter this past season, and there's a lot to like about him, but I think there's just as much to dislike. He's a guy that I've had a bit everywhere because he started out the season pretty strong and then just kind of died down. And the dude has tools. There's no doubt about it. He's 6'6", 310. I mean, just look at the times there. 4.88 40, 22 on the bench, 31 on the vert, 110 on the broad. I could read out these stats all day. He's got a great combination of power, size, speed. The feet, they move real fast. His upper body strength's insane. He can legitimately push men against their will. He's young, he's got great tools. The thing is, it's never clicked for him. It just never has. He doesn't really have a real, I would say, toolbox of pass rush moves. His hand usage is just all over the place. It really is. He plays a bit high. I mean, at 6'6", I buy it. Yeah, you're probably going to be playing a bit higher. It's going to be a bit harder to sink, but the thing is, he's flexible enough, man. I know he can get down low if he needs to. He's inconsistent when coming off the snap. And speaking of inconsistent, this dude's just inconsistent. He has by far the lowest pass rush win rate of anyone in the top 10 on this list, and actually he has the lowest pass rush win rate of anyone in my top 20 when it comes to the defensive interior class. So just throwing that out there. So the dude is inconsistent. He's just got a ton of tools, and I was looking at his mock draftable, and that's why I list role project. But I was looking at his mock draftable, and guys like Marcus Stroud, John Henderson popped up, and I was like, no, could be, maybe. And I ended up settling on a Jared Odrick, who I was like, you know what, the guy that has tools, has potential. It's just a matter of will he achieve it. So I thought that was a good comp for him. But yeah, I'm settling on here at 10 over a couple of other guys I have on the list just because of the tools and the age. He's younger, he's got better tools, even though the production is not nearly as good as some of the other guys that he's ahead of. He might be a guy you're willing to throw, or willing to take the home run swing, willing to throw a dart at, willing to roll the dice for. So yeah. Let's go ahead to number 9. I have Moro Ojomo out of Texas, coming in at 6'3", 292, and he was one of my favorite guys at the I believe it was the Shrine Bowl, as he was just pushing guys back into the pocket. He is stupid strong. And you might be like, oh man, you say he's stupid strong, but look at that bench, only 29. And I mean, 29, that's a respectable number. That's a good number. The dude's got 34.5-inch arms. What do you expect? He's literally having to go to the top of Mount Everest, and then down here to what do they call it? The Mariana Trench. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in school, but yeah, that's how far he's having to go for his reps. Throw some respect on his name. Come on. But he tested out pretty darn well. As you could see, some of the green areas there are in the upper percentiles. So definitely scored out pretty darn well. Had a very good season this past year. And a guy that has always been pretty darn consistent throughout his career. And this year kind of felt more like him breaking out. And I kind of said this about him at the Shrine Bowl. Oh, thank you, my lovely wife. I do appreciate that. But I said this about him at the Shrine Bowl. You can leave Gojo there. He's helping. But I said this about him at the Shrine Bowl was his ability to push the pocket. Like, he's long and he can sink low. He gets low. Baby, get low. Apple bottom jeans, that's what I'm saying. So he's just going to be a nightmare bull rusher from the get-go. He's consistently just winning the point of attack. He's just very good, like violent hands, oily hips. Like, the dude moves exceptionally, I would say exceptionally well. He disengages with relative ease, so there's just a lot to like about him. If you're gonna nitpick, it's like, okay, not the biggest biggest toolbox of pass rush moves, but to be fair, you don't really need too many on the interior. But I think he's fine there. You could talk about some of the holding calls in his career. Again, kind of nitpicking. And I got another thing I got here. More of a linear player not that flexible. So he's not like a bendy guy. He's not a guy that's gonna be able to like consistently turn the corner and whatnot. He kind of likes just to come in there and penetrate. That's why I got him as like a 2-gapper or a 3-4 end. And I think I could see part of his game as being like Sheldon Richardson, and that might feel like a bit of a high comp. Probably is, but I could definitely see a similar role for him and him succeeding. Like, I believe they're in the ballpark in terms of their length. Just want to make sure mock draftable. Not positions. Let's take a quick gander at Sheldon Richardson. I think Richardson didn't even have like size on him either. So this is almost a very good, like, for at least verbatim in terms of testing, in terms of size, length, and I mean similar roles. So I'm comfortable with that comp there. On to number 8, I got Cikei Ika out of Baylor. Yeah, a lot of people, the hype on him died a long time ago. I know some of y'all are gonna be looking at them. A few of those red numbers, be like, what's the deal with this guy anyway? What's the hype? And it's just like, he's a space eater, man. Like, there are not a lot of guys that can just be that in the NFL. Like, he is that. He brings in a nice 330 plus pound frame. It was good to see him down from the 359 he was listed at Baylor. But Cikei Ika has a very interesting story, at least in terms of his career. Former 4-star recruit out of the 2019 class. Initially went to LSU. And then he carved out a pretty decent role. And then he saw his the following year, he saw there was a scheme change because the DC went on to be the head coach over at Baylor. And with the scheme change, he saw his role diminish. So he was like, yeah, nah, screw that. I'm going to go to Baylor. Reunited, had a banger 2021. And honestly, as you can see, as I list the stats on these overlays, the production kind of fell off in 2022. It wasn't nearly that good. And I think that's what really hurt his stock, because at the beginning of the year, we were probably talking about this guy as a fringe first. Now we're probably comfortably saying he's probably a third rounder, which I think is pretty darn fair, because there's still stuff to like about him. Like, he's got a very strong lower body. He's a dude that just consistently create piles there in the middle and have to force basically running backs to the outside. Very sturdy, plays with good balance, better quicks than you would expect. And now that he's like down in size, I mean, the 3-cone, while it's not like a great 3-cone, it's still mid, but you got to consider the size at which he did it at, the size he ran it with. So that's good. But I mean, still, like, outside of him just being kind of this big space eater, like, what else is he really bringing to the table? Is he a guy that can be more than a 2-down player? Can he be 3 downs? I think the question's kind of up in the air for that. Really, he isn't a dude that has too many counters. He just kind of likes to push his way to the quarterback. But I don't know. I kind of settled on a Grover Stewart as a comp. Like, Grover Stewart, I feel like he's kind of done well for himself over the year. Like, he was a cat that has been, like, for back-to-back seasons, a cap casualty for me. Like, I think, I mean, he's a good player, but he's taking up a lot more money than I think he should. Stays with the team, and then next year, I'll restructure the contract. It's like, I don't know. I think Cikei Ika could kind of be like a guy like that. You know? I think he can, but yeah, I got him here at number 8. He might not be, like, for some people, I don't know, what would you say, like, the main attraction, or like a showy, flashy, shiny toy, but like, he's more of like, you know what, you're gonna throw him in there, he's gonna get the job done, especially at least early downs. So, yeah, got him here at number 8. Number 7, Karl Brooks. Huge fan of Karl Brooks. Wish he tested out better at his pro day, but we'll talk about that in a sec. He was an unranked recruit out of the 2018 class. Entered Bowling Green as a 220-pound linebacker. Can you imagine that? But, man, this dude's been amazing. He was first-team All-MAC this season. I believe he was... he's mainly played on the outside. Like, literally, this season, all of his stats basically came out to like 5 tech or wider. I think only it was only about 44 came on the inside. So it's like, he's a guy that's going to have to move to the inside. And we kind of saw that at the Senior Bowl, and it looked fine. Like, I was like, you know what? He came to the Senior Bowl, a level up in competition, and he looked good. I liked it. And then not being invited to compound, I was like, what the heck, man? That's wild. And then we come to see the pro day numbers, and it's like, wow, really nothing special. Like, I kind of expected the explosive numbers to be a little bit better. Like, the vert wasn't great. Broad was fine. So it's like, I was a little let down there. I kind of knew he was already going to come in with short arms, and that's kind of why you have to move to the interior. But, like, there's a lot to like about this guy. Like, he feels like the most powerful guy on the field at any given moment. Like, he legitimately does. He's got a powerful upper body, legit pop to his hands, plays real low, sinks down to the ground. Like, this dude, he's coming at you, like, from angles where I didn't even think would exist for a guy at 300 pounds. Just gets great leverage in general. And I like his burst, despite what I thought his explosive or his agility numbers would be. Like, on tape, his burst looks good. His feet are quick. His hands are quick. But if he falls, because, like, I'd be willing to take this guy early sack or late second, early third. If he ends up falling to day 3, yeah, I think that could be something that happens. He lacks length for the position, or length in general. There's not much career experience on the inside for him. So, like, kind of felt like at the Senior Bowl we were seeing it for the first time. Even though it did look good, we were kind of seeing it for the first time. And just a small box of pass rush moves. Like, he just doesn't have too many. It's literally, hey, bull rush, I'm strong. Here I come. And I mean, dude, like, you look at the stats. The stats are there. 69 pressures. Nice. And then he's got 12 sacks. Like, yeah, to be fair, he's doing this all on the edge. He's doing it against lesser competition. I get it. But, like, the production's really good. So I got him as a 3-tech DT at the next level. Something he's going to have to play. Can he play maybe a 3-4N? Can he be 2 gapper? I don't know if he could defeat double teams like that. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more lower body strength, if that's going to be the case. But yeah, I got him here at 64 on my big board. And then number 6, we got Mozzy Smith, Mr. number 1 on Bruce Feldman's freaks list, coming here at number 6 for Broshmo. 6'3", 223. He was down in the weight department on his pro day. And yeah, I mean, we kind of all know what we're getting here with him. Like, the upside's pretty nice. Like, great build, stupid strong even for the nose tackle position. 34 bench, looking good, buddy, looking good. I love the fire he plays with in terms of, like, this guy will pursue guys to the sideline. In the run game, it's really insane. He plays with a big motor, and he hardly came off the field there at Michigan. Like, this dude played, 500 plus snaps this past season? He had multiple games with 50 plus snaps, so it's like, all right, yeah, I like a lot of what I'm hearing about him here. It's just until you look at the production, and it's like, it's fine. It's fine. Kind of is what it is. Like, he's not really doing much for you, I think, as a pass rusher just yet, because he plays real high, and honestly, like, he's very lumbering. Is that the word I'm looking for? Let's go with it. He's very lumbering with how he uses his hands. He doesn't have impressive get off. Like, he doesn't really he doesn't bring the same energy to rushing the passer as he does in the run game. There's just not that same type of urgency. You know, it feels like he's more so holding a point, which it's like, I mean, unless you're like setting up, like, I don't know, a stunner or something, like, I don't think you really need to do that, bro. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's stuff. I think there's stuff there. I think there's something there, though. I think there's something there with Mozzy Smith. He tested well in his explosive numbers. Nothing like we expected with all the hype from Bruce Feldman's, but they were good numbers nonetheless. Currently got him 52 on my big board. My comp was BJ Araji. Want to give a nice shout out to my former Boston College boy. I say former like I went to, like, my former Boston College boy. Like, I went to freaking Boston College. Nope, never even been to Boston. So, but yeah, no, I think there's some similarities there in terms of movement skills, what they're bringing in terms of strength, and what I think a potential ceiling could look like for Mozzy Smith. All right, we're going to the top 5 now with Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin. And this guy really started rising on people's boards after a banger of a Senior Bowl, man. Literally defeating clowns left and right. Coming in at 6'4", 309. I know you look at the test and it's like, okay, the test, it's kind of like, it is what it is. Like, he's probably a average, maybe a slightly above average athlete, which is fine. But like, you can see, like, he's got legit movement skills, plays with a big motor. He's never out of the play. Like, I mean, this guy can defend the run, but he finally really got to show what he can do as a pass rusher. I mean, he did little parts of that back in 2022, but for Wisconsin. But Wisconsin, they're mainly a run-contained first team. That's just kind of the Big Ten. But you go to the Senior Bowl, and he's just wreaking havoc, man. He really great upper body strength. Love the pop in the hands. Legitimately, like, it's like a brick through a car windshield. When he throws a punch, it looks definite. Like, I got hit with a beanbag gun. It's kind of what it looks like, man. If we're gonna have some gripes with him, being at 6'4", not really too tall. Not really it's not like he's 6'5", 6'6" or anything. But you could kind of look at it and be like, okay, you should be playing a bit lower than you are. And I think you see that more in the passing game with him, where he kind of plays a bit too high sometimes. He does need a bit more polish in terms of his hand technique, hand usage and such. But still, man, for a guy that wasn't really asked to rush the passer a lot there at Wisconsin, I think you're getting a great piece of marble to sculpture a fine defensive interior player for your squad. Got him here at 44 on my big board. All right, going to number 4. Got Calijah Kancey out of Pitt. I want to see those people coming in. I want to see those people that love Kancey. I want them in here, and I want them loud and proud. Because I'm going to say some things. So, first off, that 6'1" height, it's in the 1 percentile. That 30.5-inch arm length is in the 1 percentile for the position. Kind of a unicorn. Is it? It's mythical, yeah, but it could also be make-believe. Is that going to transition to the NFL? A lot of people look at that 40 time and think it's going to, because that's when I really saw a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon. What an oh my gosh, that 40 time. Goodness gracious. Like, don't get me wrong. The dude's got wonderful tape. Legitimately does. Like 47 pressures, 8 sacks. He's primarily did this from the B gap. So you love to see it. Like, he's a twitched up athlete. Like, incredible first step. Just explodes off the line of scrimmage. He knows how to use that natural leverage since he's short. He knows how to use his natural leverage. He knows how to keep his body clean. And, like, he just knows how to rush the passer well. And, like, I think he's gonna be able to, a guy you can, like, honestly, you could throw him on the outside. You could throw him there like a 3-tech or something. You can move him around. That's kind of why I came up with the comp of Geraldo Casey. I was like, oh man, I definitely think this is a guy that could get by where you can move him around a little bit and have some fun with him. But you got to understand, this dude ain't Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald had like, what, 32, 33-inch arms? You're betting on a unicorn. When he does get caught up with blockers, good luck. He's basically dead in the water. There's no real anchor to him. He's very limited right now. I would say early on in the run game when it comes to the NFL. So he might be a DPR, designated pass rusher, early in his career. But I get it. I get why a lot of people like him. The production's been wonderful the past 2 seasons. It's just I would approach with a bit more caution. I wouldn't really consider him like a sure first rounder. I mean, I got him 36 on my big board. That basically means he's a fringe first rounder, but definitely not a lock in my opinion. All right, on to number 3. I got Bryan Bresee out of Clemson, and let's go ahead. Just let's just get this out the way because people are gonna be like, he's injury prone. How, Sway, how? So, came into Clemson, had a banger freshman season. He was on his way to having a really good sophomore year until 4 games into the season. Tore his ACL, out for the year. Okay, cool. There's your one injury. And then you get a new DC in 2022, and it's not like he was playing terrible, right? It just wasn't up to what we saw in his freshman year. And there were times where he was really asked not to be, like, he was kind of the appetizer, not the entree. He was going in there, opening up things for other guys. You know, like, dude, KJ Henry's numbers out the wazoo. Rook's numbers out the wazoo. Tyler Davis numbers out the wazoo. You got even Jeremiah Trotter. Like, he was helping these guys get free. So there's a little bit of that to why the production was down a bit, but it's not completely that. The dude dealt with a kidney infection. I don't know if you want to draw connections, dots. I don't think that involves the ACL, so I don't think there's a connection there. He did have a nagging shoulder injury down the stretch, but he played through that. So, okay. Dude was going through, like, his sister died of cancer. He was dealing with that. So it was kind of a big emotional year where, to be fair, I don't think a lot of things were in his favor. Like, just weren't. And he muscled through it. Like, he ain't injury prone. If you want to say that, then I'm sorry. It's not even we disagree. I think you're an idiot. All right, so let's move on to what he can do for you, because this guy's got really good tools, good size, good bend, good short area quicks. He plays with a great motor. Literally, he will grind out reps if he can't win off, like, right off the bat, which we'll get into that in a sec. I think there's a lot of versatility to what he could do for you, which is kind of why the comp of Bilal Nichols kind of came into Mr. I can run it. I can do any scheme. I mean, I can do any scheme and be average to above average. I think Bresee probably got a higher ceiling than that, but it just kind of reminded me of Nichols in that regard. Now, very not polished as a pass rusher. He's just not. Like, when I say he will grind out reps, there are cases where it's like he will struggle to break free, and he will grind. He will grind the other blocker down until he can get free. He can play high sometimes. I ain't talking about sobriety, but stature. He plays tall sometimes, and to be fair, like, again, we kind of got into why the production kind of didn't match the tools he tested out. I thought very well. I think he is a guy you take a shot at in the mid first round. I really do. And I'm a big fan of Bresee. I just am. Like, we've seen what this guy can be, like, early in his career, and I'd be willing to bet on that. Number 2 should not be a surprise if you're not new to the channel. It's Adetomiwa Adebawore. Let me reiterate that for you. Adetomiwa Adebawore, out of Northwestern, man. I'm a huge fan of this cat. I really am. You could go back timeline in the channel, week 0, where he ended up facing, I believe it was Nebraska and Dublin. Super weird, right? But he was one of my players of the week, or it was like scout report. I forgot what I call it. It's basically a scout report where, by the way, hey, I do content all year round. So early in the year, man, if you're trying to get into the NFL draft stupid early, I do weekly scouting reports. Like, hey, this guy popped off. Keep an eye on him. Adebawore was that guy week 0. And if you could tell by the testing numbers, he's kind of a freak. He is just better better odds Kancey. Like, I think the odds are better with him than Kancey because he's working with way bigger arms, basically 34-inch arms. All the testings much better than Kancey's. And I just really, really love what he brings. He basically split time outside and inside. Over 260 snaps were in the B gap or in the A gap, while he was mainly on the outside for about 450 snaps, 5 tech or wider. But still, man, I think he's a dude that you could probably move around the line quite well. Tough he's tough to deal with. Tough combination of length and leverage. He's got great explosiveness. He tested in the 10-yard split, 1.61, very good number there. Grayed out well, both in the B gap and the edge. I think there's just a lot of pluses to him where I'm willing to bet on this guy mid to late first round. I'd start probably thinking about him around pick 15 if I'm being honest. Some of the things you don't like about him, doesn't finish well as a tackler just yet. Like, I think his missed tackle rate was up to I don't have it on here. I want to say it was like 21% though. He does occasionally play with a high pad level, but like you've seen the power this guy can generate. Jim Nagy's been posting it all over Twitter, so you go check that out. And the hand usage and placement could be better, which is fine. It's fine. Like, with this guy's tools, his athletic traits, sign me up. Sign me up, because like these guys on the tier that got incredible length, incredible get off, and they're a little stockier. They're at 6'2". You could ask these offensive linemen. These guys are incredibly tough to deal with. So I'm willing to bet on Adebawore. He is my rank 2 defensive interior, because rank 1 wasn't going to be changing. It's Jalen Carter, Mr. Carter. And this dude's a phenomenal prospect. Like, former 5-star recruit. Let's just go ahead, run through all the good so we could get to the not good. Former 5-star recruit. He dominated this year. He dominated last year. I legitimately, last year's draft, I was saying Jalen Carter was the best player on that defense, and he's not even eligible. And then we come this year, still the best player on that defense. He's powerful. He's explosive. Plays with quick feet. Great pop in his hands. Took double teams a lot easier this season. Sacks and sheds, blockers with ease. It's too easy. It's not fair. The game's too easy to him. And then we get to this freaking draft cycle, the off-season draft process. Was a bit of a miss like, first dealt with the arrest warrant, since he wasn't involved with the car crash that unfortunately cost a Georgia staffer and one of his teammates their life. They were drag racing that night, but he wasn't, I guess, involved in terms of he didn't cause the accident. And you could go check out the police report. He stayed there until police told him he could go home and whatnot. Warren McLennan, a guy who was involved in the accident, he was in the car where that crashed. He has nothing but great things to say about Jalen Carter. So, like, when it comes to that, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like, okay, if he's got a speeding problem, that's something I think maybe you could write into the contract and figure a way to manage. The pro day. The pro day is probably a bigger pill to swallow. He came to the pro day, 10 pounds overweight. He decided not to do any of the drills outside of the positional drills, and he didn't look good in positional drills. He looked unconditioned. He couldn't even finish the workout. And I mean, I know that word came out that, like, okay, they were there to really push him, see what his endurance looked like, and he just didn't. He didn't answer the challenge. At least he didn't answer it well. So a lot of people are going to be turned off by that. Be like, oh, this guy's work ethic is poppycock. And this is what I'm going to say. We have seen 2 years of tape on this guy, where he's been incredible. His coaches, his teammates, they have nothing but great things to say about him. Even Gojo loves the guy. He paid for a classmate. It's not even a classmate. It was a teammate's lunch for the whole semester. Like, that story is somewhere out there if you want to go check it out. Like, I don't think we need to question the character or the work ethic on this guy. Like, coming to his pro day, it's like, oh, you might be like, oh, he knew it was coming up. Like, you can't really blame what all he's got going on around him. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, at the end of the day, this was a 21, 22-year-old kid. He did something stupid. Young kids do stupid things. I'm sure, like, he was probably going through a plethora of emotions. Like, whatever reason you want to come up with why he wasn't ready for the pro day, he just happened not to be ready for the pro day. I don't know if he's going to have private workouts with some of these squads, but the guy's talent's too good to fall, in my opinion. You'd be like, he couldn't be prepared for this one day? This is the most important day of his life. We have 2 freaking years of game after game after game after game. Tell me when to stop. After game of him just being dominant. I don't know. It's hard for me to pass on that, especially if I'm one of these teams like Detroit or Seattle that have 2 first-round picks. It's like, oh, are you saying I have the luxury to take a swing on one of these draft picks? Well, give me Jalen Carter if that's going to be my swing. So that's what I have to say. I'm a big Jalen Carter fan, so got him. He's 4th on my big board, but that's it for the video. Remember, you can check out the Patreon if you want my full rankings, evals, and all that good stuff. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.